and welcome to DynamicsCon. Today, we're going to take a look at how WorldMax can help you unleash your proactive superpowers. Let's start this off on the right foot and keep it real. I know many of you are way too busy to sit through this entire presentation today, and that's okay. I completely understand. All I'm asking for is 30 to 45 seconds of your time to hear my elevator pitch. Then you can get on with the rest of your day.
Oh, could you hit floor 2, please?
All right. I'm Mary Thompson. I'm the CEO of WorldMax, where we use the Power Platform to help organizations maximize their experience with Business Central. We specialize in automations, approvals, and integrations. The equation is really simple. You take the Power Platform, you add in Business Central, you save a lot of time, and then you have really happy customers. If this sounds like something that your organization could use, go ahead, scan the code, and I'll be in touch. True to my word, that's the end of the elevator pitch, and feel free to tune me out now. For those of you that still have time to stick around, I promise not to be too boring, or at least I hope not. You're probably more familiar with seeing me like this in a superhero costume. However, I'd have to say that there's a lot more behind that mask. For example, I worked with the SMBs for over 15 years before I transitioned to a Business Central consultant. Early in my tech career, I learned about the Power Platform. I instantly knew it was going to be a game changer for those that faced the same challenges I did when I was in their shoes. I got to work, and WorldMax has been evolving ever since. Along that journey, I have also become a Microsoft MVP as I focus on Business Central and the Power Platform, and I've had the opportunity to travel the world speaking and sharing with others on how they too can connect Business Central with the Power Platform. Today, I'm really excited to talk to you about digital transformation. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to talk about digital transformation. Why aren't we going to talk about it? Because just a really tired word, right? We've all heard it. We've seen the presentations. We've been talking about it for quite some time. What are we going to talk about then? Well, we're actually going to talk about what it means to run a business in a post-COVID era. In my personal opinion, you can't do that if your company hasn't already started the digital transformation process. Let's talk about that. This is the way that most companies, I feel like, seem to be operating right now, right? They pretend like everything is fine, but in reality, there's all of these fires going on, right? Companies of all sizes are facing more problems than ever in this current environment. Labor, an organization's most important resource, is one of those particular challenges. When everyone went home in 2020, most people did not return to the normal work environment. Organizations transitioned from everyone being in the same place to many workers working remotely or some type of hybrid combination. This presents a big new challenge to employers to make sure that their day-to-day operations can still run just as smoothly, even though people are no longer sitting right next to each other. Speaking of that labor challenge, have you heard of this thing? They're calling it the Great Resignation. So basically, a lot of people are deciding that they'd like to refigure out what they want to do. This has been quite a challenge on our business owners as they're having a really hard time finding help. Who absorbs that, work that needs to be done? Well, the business owners, right? So business owners are having to wear more hats than ever and needing to do more with less people, essentially. To add to that, customers, they're the other really important part about a company. Well, customers are expecting a lot more out of organizations as well, too. Customer expectations have changed a lot in a post-COVID era as well. As everyone went home, Customers then had to be able to transact in a new virtual way. That means we have to be more available to customers in a virtual way and have a place to communicate, reach out to them, and transact to them in a virtual aspect. Maybe something that wasn't necessary before. I think that's why we'll see a big rise in the e-commerce business as well. Adding to what our customers expect from businesses, with the with the ongoing involvement, I guess I would say, of the digital transformation, our customers expect more. The bar has been raised is what we present. Being online, having a web store, a website is no longer enough. It doesn't mean that you're professional enough, right? The way that we ask customers for information, are we sending a Word document, via an attachment, or are we sending a link that they can just fill out and the information be sent back, right? So all of those kind of tasks or skills have been changed. And if you can't meet those basic digital transformation, skills that everyone are taking, then your customers are going to take a look at your work and just think it's not up to par. So these are a lot of different challenges that companies are facing. What do we do? Well, the answer is simple. We need to work smarter, not harder. Microsoft's Power Platform is designed to do just that. In this data-driven world, I wanted to share some of these great statistics that have been gathered by Forrester and Forbes. First and foremost, let's take a look at the 2 to 3 hours a day that's saved per an app. That is mind-blowing. If you take each employee 2 to 3 hours per day, that's almost a half of a day that you're getting back. That's pretty amazing to me. Looking at the next statistic, we have $1.4 million saved in payroll. That's astronomical that we can see that's what organizations, are achieving with the Power Platform. But maybe you're asking yourself why. Well, the why is in that 2 to 3 hours that they're saving, right? If you can take that 2 to 3 hours times 5, that's 15 hours a week. Then maybe you're not having to pay somebody because the work is getting done. Or maybe you can do the work instead of hiring somebody else to pay it, or even better yet, you just get the system to do the work for you. And I'm all about wanting to have the work done for me. And apparently, so are 97% of other Forbes 500 companies. What I often tell people is the Power Platform is like the new Excel. 97% of companies are using it. That's like saying someplace isn't using Excel. It's just so common knowledge, we know that it's there. So if your company isn't using something that 97% of the other top 500 companies are using, don't you wonder why? Don't you want to be a part of that? And finally, all of these really great statistics actually add up to 199% on your return on investment. I don't know about you, but I hate throwing money away, right? So I want to be able to invest my money and know that that's going to come back to me. Maybe you're saying to yourself, those are really great numbers, but still, what exactly does that mean for my company, Mary? Let me tell you what that means. That means that you can shift from a reactive standpoint to a proactive standpoint. That's astronomical. Why? Because that allows you to be in control of the situation. And in this really turbulent business world where the supply chains are uncontrollable, our labor resources are uncontrollable, you got to hold on to what you can, right? And so whenever you're able to have really great data and you're able to save time and you're able to get back to the part of your business that you got into business for, then you're able to make these really smart decisions that are based with financial data to back it up, right? So you know that you're making the smart decisions. It's one of the first reasons why you moved to Business Central to begin with. But whenever you add the Power Platform to that, then you can actually take to an exponential level the amount that you can maximize from Business Central and take a proactive approach. So, are you really excited about the Power Platform and adding it to your Business Central? But maybe you're not quite sure how. That's where WorldMax comes in. We're here to help you streamline your business in a lightning fast rate because we have a super specialized network around the world. We are here to help you with pre-designed applications for your company, but we can also help you in creating custom applications that are specific to your business needs. We are also here to help partners that are installing Business Central but maybe don't have that right Power Platform skill set. We're here to help you and your customers. And we'd also love to help our direct customers, those that are already using Business Central. Maybe they did a self-implementation, but they're not really sure how to get started with the Power Platform. No worries, give us a call and we'll be here to help you. What sets WorldMax apart from everyone else is the fact that we have a real-life experience and we have the technical chops to back it up. I'm a pretty visual, or at least a conceptual person, so instead of just talking about a bunch of numbers and nice pretty things, I figured I would give you guys a few examples of what WorldMax has been doing to help some of our customers currently. Automating accounts payable is one of the biggest areas any organization can save their time on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the normal AP process. Of course, we start off with our purchase order. Then, and it may start off with a quote, but we'll just say purchase order for now. That moves into you're going to receive the goods in that you sent the order for, the vendor sends them. Then you're going to receive that invoice. Then you need to enter that invoice into the system. Then maybe you have to have an approval system or somebody approve that invoice. And then finally, you're going to make the payment, right? So there's a lot of steps that go around in here. And now Business Central, it does a really great job at doing most of these tasks, right? It does a lot better job than some of those other systems I'm not even going to mention. But today, we're going to focus on automating these steps here, right? The receiving of the invoice, the entering of the invoice, and then the approval of the invoice. Let's take a deeper look. Let's talk about how we can simplify this process in just a few clicks. First, your vendor is going to send you some type of invoice, usually via email. So we'll set up some flows to go in there and grab that attachment and then essentially either do one of two things. You can send it straight into an approval process, or if you don't have an approval process set up for your company, we can automatically just enter it into Business Central. Either way, what you're doing is you're eliminating the need for someone to be monitoring an email or even entering those invoices into the system. All of that will be automatically done at an amazing precision rate, and it's only a few clicks instead of somebody's full-time job being entering those invoices. So when we talked about saving 2 to 3 hours a day, this is definitely one of the areas that can happen in. Another application that I see many customers benefiting from is monitoring their expenses, right? It's the internal expenses, what I would call the other side of AP. It's not necessarily just your vendors where you're writing your POs, but this is for your credit card expenses, your gas, your food and bev, right? Those different charges and receipts that come in. Now, of course, there are third-party ISVs that handle a whole lot. They have a whole lot of bells and whistles, and that's great. They are great applications, and I am not knocking those. But what the Power Platform does and what WorldMax can help you do is to utilize some standard applications, again, using the AI builder, using some approvals, and your cell phone to just scan those receipts, save them in SharePoint, again, go through that automatic process. And with that, you're staying all within inside the Business Central and Dynamics applications. You're not having to go to a third party. You don't have to use an ISV. Sure, you're not going to get all the bells and whistles, But not everyone needs all the bells and whistles, right? And so in addition to that, you're also saving yourself a lot of time and additional development costs because you're not having to work with these third-party ISVs. You don't have to have an additional license per user that needs to run the expenses. So it's a better way for companies that are a little bit smaller or ones that don't need quite as much automation or bells and whistles that some of the more advanced applications can offer. One of my other favorite things to do with Business Central is integrations. I always see the biggest bang for the buck, I think, in this integration aspect, right? It's where we're being able to take things that are happening in another system and transposing that information back into Business Central. One of the most common areas that I see this in is in e-commerce, right? So we're having orders. So for example, Shopify or any other e-commerce site, because there's plenty. I know that they're having the Shopify connector come out soon, but they're not the only e-commerce shop in town, right? So there's still integrations that need to be done. And that allows you to have your orders and your customers and even your inventory synced from your ERP system into your e-commerce system, and nobody's having to do that manual update between the two. Other systems that we commonly integrate with are, of course, various CRM systems, whether it be, D365 Sales, which is my personal favorite, or, we can also connect into other things like Salesforce or HubSpot. And this is really, really beneficial as well because it allows companies and organizations to use some of the products that they're always using or they have long history in and still integrate that into Business Central. Now, whenever we use the Power Platform to create these integrations, opposed to going to a traditional developer, is using the Power Platform is I have seen that I can get projects done usually about 40 to 50% quicker than a average development time can be done on such integrations. So, not to say that this is the only way to do it, but it is a new way to do it. And often whenever you're using the Power Platform, you can integrate at a lightning speed. And these are just some of the areas that we have used on integrations, but there's actually, an opportunity to connect with over 250 other systems inside the Power Platform with automatic connectors and APIs to other systems. So while I have just a few pictures on this screen, just know that there are so many opportunities out there for you to connect your Business Central system to. These have just been a few examples of how you can start streamlining your business processes today. Time is money, and therefore, the quicker that you start saving time, the sooner you start saving money. I would love to be the one to help you and your business maximize your day-to-day efforts. So if you'd like to get in touch, again, please scan the code. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you, DynamicsCon, for this wonderful opportunity, and I look forward to helping you in the future. Hey everyone, thank you so much for catching my session. I hope everyone is having a really awesome DynamicsCon today and yesterday. I'd love to open up the mic or the chat to see if anyone has any questions about maybe how WorldMax can help you. Hold on, I'm not sure if everyone can see me or not. I think I'm having some technical difficulties today. Oh, perfect. Questions for Mary. There we go. In case no one asks, I'm curious. What's behind WorldMax? Sorry. Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for holding on for me, y'all. So here's the thing. WorldMax came from kind of a mission that I had, and it's about helping as many people as possible reach their maximum potential using the Power Platform. And you'll often notice, like in my website, I have this P2, right? Or in my logo, I've got WorldMax, around some quotations, and then I've got P to exponential. So if you think about it, Power Platform, right? PP, P squared. And what I love about that is when you take something to an exponential power, you go at it at a super high, fast rate, right? So that's what I like to think about when you add the Power Platform into running businesses, is that you can really exponentialize your potential by adding that platform in there. So that's where I came up with the name for WorldMax. What are easy opportunities you should be looking at? So I think that for the most part, when people are saying, when your customers are saying that they have a lot of dual data entry, right? That they're duplicating their efforts or putting data in one system and then having to replicate that into their ERP system. This is probably what I see as the number one way for us to be able to help our customers, right? And to be able to use the Power Platform to capitalize that. A lot of times it's going to be the data transferring from one company or from one system to another. Also, whenever you're just trying to digitalize a lot of processes. So a lot of times organizations to the administrative level, they're bringing in documents from employees. In fact, earlier today, I was just speaking with one of my friends who runs and works with a company, and they've got accounts all over the country, even outside of the country. They probably have 20 or 30 sales reps. And her biggest challenge is they've got like time cards and spreadsheets, basically Excel files that everyone sends her time in and how many things that they sold. And basically they've just got this form on Excel. So she's getting hundreds of emails a month, right? Trying to keep up with all of her sales people's how much they sold, how much they owe, what the commission is, all of that. And then she's having to go in and duplicate that entry inside of Business Central as well. So it's kind of a different, right? It's not taking data from one system to another, but it's helping in digitalizing your employees' processes as well. So I think that those are two really great areas to look for. And then always I have approvals, which I think are really, really great and really easy to be looking for, as well as just being able to digitalize approval processes. So yeah, those are great questions. Thank you. I think, yeah, I'm glad that somebody else gets like the P squared. I keep meaning to write a blog post on the funness of it. It doesn't quite explain itself, but it's super, super important to me at least. So yeah. Any other questions from everyone out there? I'll refresh my screen since that seems to help. Let's see here. Oh, here we got some more. Do you see more opportunities in a project work, helping customers set up their flows, or more of a teaching? Jeremy, I think that's a really great. So if I understand the concept, it's is it more of a training or more of a doing? And I really think that it can go both ways, honestly. For the most part, what I see is that people they're hiring that out. They're contracting that work out because they don't really have the time to learn those additional skill sets right now. But I do think that the face of that will change in the next 6 months to a year, right? Like I see that as being future trends. We've seen that from what I would say the Dataverse side, right? In CRM, we've had a lot of end users then become makers and really create some of their own flows. Business Central is unique in the sense of it's not been around as long as people have been working with what's Microsoft CRM right now, right? Or whatever it has transpired to. And there's a couple different versions. But the point of it being is that people are already really used to the Power Platform with CE. So there's been some time and you have more of these end users, right? That maybe they're looking for consultants to teach them a little bit internally how to work on things. But I think we're a little bit off from that in Business Central right now. However, I do think that would be a really amazing goal that I would love to help organizations, achieve, as well as how can we empower their internal employees, right? So that they can start to attack those frontline problems personally with those skill sets. So yeah, so I don't see a lot of people looking to learn how to in-house skill that up right now, but I do see that as being a potential for the future. Great question though, Jeremy. Thanks for that. It's very, very interesting as we see, you know, how the Power Platform evolves, and I think that the more people get to know about it, they really do want to, you know, use it more. Here's another one. Data analytics fields and certifications. Diane, that's a really great question. I don't have a lot of response for you in, I guess, the data analytical side of things. I'm really more kind of transforming data, pulling data. And I would say for the analytics side is going to be something that's much more Power BI centric, or at least in the Power Platform, you know, realm of things. And I think that that's something that's a little bit unique about WorldMax, is I think that a lot of times, especially when it comes to ERP, people think Power BI, right? Because it's all the numbers and all the reporting, and that's what, you know, we want out of a financial system. However, that is specifically why I really kind of focus more on Power Automate and Power Apps. It's actually not really analytical driven. They're more process driven. So that's an awesome question that I don't really know the answer to as far as it goes to analytics. Now, of course, if they were looking to improve their Business Central skills, I would say something like the MB 800 or the D365 fundamentals. And I would say the same thing for the Power Platform, right? If somebody kind of adding on to Jeremy's question, right, maybe kind of some internal users, then I would definitely recommend, you know, looking at the D365 Power Platform fundamentals, which I believe is the PL 900. So yeah, that's what I would recommend there. Looks like we just have a few more minutes left before we're at the top of the hour, but I really appreciate everyone joining and these really awesome questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to either drop them in the chat. I'll also be hosting and moderating the Power Platform chat all day, so feel free to come over there as well. And I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to Doug and DynamicsCon and all the other sponsors for making this wonderful event possible. And of course, if I can help you with anything, feel free to find me at worldmaxp2.com. Thank you.